You might be wondering why this video is called the Pact. Well, like most things on this channel, it's got something to do with a funny story I have. Before we jump into things, this video is brought to you by Ridge Wallet. I know lads, I know, it's a momentous day. I actually got approached for a legit sponsorship. Entering the big leagues now. Oh, your days are numbered, girl. Margot Robbie's going to be taking your place any day now. The Ridge Wallet is a light, sleek, industrial and quite sexy looking wallet if I do say so myself. And now that I got one, I don't have to empty my wallet once a week because it's bulging with half a rainforest worth of useless receipts. This bad boy is RFID blocking, which means somebody can't skim your card contactless when it's in there. Holds up to 12 cards with your choice of money clip or cash strap for cash. Comes in 30 colours and in styles including the very pretty burnt titanium or my choice, the carbon fibre. Ridge started out as a successful Kickstarter and these days has over 30,000 5-star reviews. The wallet is absolutely solid. Seriously, I could really laugh off a good battering. But even still comes with a lifetime warranty, and the Ridge team even put their money where their mouth is because they'll let you test drive it for 45 days and you can send it back for a full refund if you don't love it. They also do bags, phone cases and a space pen, which I don't know what it is, but God knows I want it. So you can get 10% off today with free worldwide shipping and returns by going to ridge.com/Ducky. That's ridge.com/Ducky and use code Ducky. Link is in the description. Go check them out. Anyway, a few years back when I was a single duck-flavoured Pringle, myself and a couple of mates were getting ready to head out for a night on the tiles. There was of course the very handsome me, my long-time close friend and man behind the channel Just the Tip that I mentioned before, PJ, and a friend called Tony. The plan? Well, we didn't really have one. We were men in our 20s, we just liked going out and meeting girls. So the night started out as usual. We had some pre-drinks and then headed to the local club, which we had to pay €10 to get in, which is f***ing bullshit. I don't know why clubs are charging people at the door just to get in so we can give them more money for a drink. Like, I'd understand if they were struggling for money, but we all know you can get a can of beer at the store for like £2 tops, and a beer in a nightclub is like €5 or €6, and don't get me started on the price of shots, so a nightclub really has no excuse to charge at the door. Like, imagine going clothes shopping and having to pay €10 just to get into the shop. So we get into the club and my night starts with a bang when I go to order my first drink and lean my sleeve directly into a puddle that was sitting on the bar. I can't show you this on screen because, well, I don't have arms. I don't have arms? Oh my god, I don't have arms! I head into the bathroom to try dry off my sleeve and I'm greeted by a very cheery black lad that works in there, giving out aftershaves and that. A bathroom attendant. Now, I'm a bit taken back by all this. I wasn't raised in a wealthy household by any stretch of the imagination. I'm as common as muck. You're listening to a man who once at a posh restaurant answered, "Cooked?" when a waiter asked me how I'd like my steak. So coming across this kind of service for the first time made me feel a little bit uncomfortable. Like I accidentally walked into the rich people bathroom. But thankfully this lad had some paper towels, so I got cleaned up, dried off, got a cheeky squirt of aftershave and chatted to him briefly. Found out his name was Austin, he had recently moved to Ireland and he's paid exclusively on tips he makes from being a bathroom attendant. Just a note, I met him way more after this night because this club became my usual spot, and I can tell you, Austin is an absolute legend. So with that, I tipped him €5 for the help, went out and got a drink and headed back to PJ and Tony. On the way back, my night continued its downward trend when I had stopped at a door to let a girl walk through, to which she did, only to stop briefly next to me, look me up and down and say, "You wish," before walking off with her head in the air. I didn't even have a response. I wasn't expecting a remark. I was just standing out somebody's way. I did it to be polite. Had I known it was going to have that outcome, I would have walked through the door like f***ing Black Dynamite. You know, to this day, that still bothers me. Like, does she think that every guy who displays basic manners is trying to fuck her? Like, we're out there eyeballing girls across the club going, "Man, I'd love to hit that. If only she'd walk through a narrow doorway while I was walking the other direction. I could really wow her with my moves then." Oh, those kind of women really piss me off. Do you know how terrifying it already is for a guy to approach a girl without having to hear some evil shit like that? Like, it isn't already hard enough for a guy out there trying to get a girl. She gotta go say some demoralising shit like that, like we're not the ones putting in all the work, sticking our necks out there, showing our cards. It's on us to approach women, it's on us to be charming, it's on us to be good looking, it's on us to make them laugh, to buy them drinks, to tell them they look pretty. We have to do everything. Also, we might have a fighting chance of getting a girl into bed. Do you know what a woman has to do to get offers? Turn up. That's it. It doesn't matter how fat, ugly, boring, stuck up, rude or stupid they are. Half the guys in the club would still bang them, no questions asked. Put that in your blog. Oh god. Anyway, the night continued on. Of course, the drink had me in and out of the bathroom all night, each time giving Austin a $5 because I felt especially bad seeing as he was in charge of keeping the bathroom clean. And everybody who seemed to use the urinals seemed to keep missing and hitting the wall and floor, to the point it was leaving literal puddles. Honestly, I think I could be hit with a seizure while pissing and still have more accuracy than these f***ing walking lumps of toe jam. If good old Austin wasn't there to keep an eye on things, I would have had to swim back to the boys. But all the trips to the toilet and the bar were starting to take their toll, and eventually I ran out of money. Now I can't go to the toilet anymore because because I've started a trend with Austin that I can't financially maintain going forward. And I am not going in there and not giving him money. It's that kind of awkwardness I refuse to experience. As you all know, I avoid awkward social interactions where I can. Like, I always pay when me and my missus order takeaway, so she has to answer the door because I don't know whether or not I should tip. Like, there isn't a tipping culture in Ireland, so you think no, but the last time my order came to €18 and I wasn't sure if they carried change, so I gave them a 20 and told them to keep the change. So maybe they're expecting a tip this time. But my order now is an even 20, or I paid with credit card. And there's no option to tip on the app, so you really don't know what to do, and then you end up having a mental breakdown, and years of suppressed sadness, rage and depression bubble to the surface, and you develop a few bad habits, head down a dark path, lose all your mates, your house, your possessions, until you end up homeless, starving half to death, living on the street, licking scrotums for £2 a ball, until your vices get the better of you, and you end up spending your last days in a hospital with nothing to comfort you as you head into the void with a hospital dinner made up of chicken, spuds and cheese sauce. And I fucking hate cheese sauce, so fuck that. But thankfully, PJ had caught wind that one of the lads we know, Connor, is having a house party nearby, and apparently there's a few women there. So seeing as I'll soon be needing the toilet, and our tactic of standing around in a smoking area for hours only talking to each other for some reason didn't seem to be working for picking up women, must have been an off day. We left the club and headed there. But like every promise ever made by a man of women at a house party, when we arrived, we were severely let down. Because not only was there only 3 people in total, but only one of them was a girl, and she wasn't the greatest looking. A bit heavy, didn't dress particularly nicely, and had glasses straight out of the 1960s. We'll call her Emma. Now, Emma wasn't a complete write-off, like a solid 3 out of 10. Like, there was definitely a pretty girl under the surface, but you'd need 50 good men and some heavy machinery to unearth it. But making the best of a bad situation, there was free drink, good tunes, and we brought our own good company with us. So we made do, had the crack, talked shite, and had a great old laugh in the end. Now, as the night went on and everyone got a bit more sauced, inevitably, Emma started to look a lot more appealing to all of us there. And it was becoming no secret that she was on the hunt for some rod herself, because she had been aggressively flirting with pretty much everyone there. She even came up to me at one point and asked me if I wanted to squeeze her boobs, which to be honest is an offer I've never gotten in that manner before. I felt like it was a trap. I was like, you're asking me if I want to reach out right now and literally squeeze them, and you're completely okay with that? And she was like, hell yeah man, go for it. Alright, fuck it. It's not every day you get a free squeeze, lads, so on the rare occasion it happens to you, you'll be doing a disservice to all men not to. But while we were mingling, we got to know Connor's roommate, Dan. Lovely chap, but very shy, very self-conscious, and a bit heavy himself. And while talking, he revealed to us that he hadn't slept with somebody in 2 years. Now, myself, PJ and Connor were doing okay at the time for women. Like, we were always on the hunt, but we were rarely at risk of a 6-month dry patch at most, much less 2 years. And Tony had a girlfriend, which is the booty equivalent to having a doctor on call, so he was grand. So we all felt pretty bad for Dan, and we all decided that we were going to try help the chap out. So given there was a rough around the edges woman in need of a service, and a rough around the edges man desperate to give one, me and the boys came up with a plan, and made a pact. We were all, with the exception of Dan, going to repel Emma's advances in hopes that she'll be left with no other choice but to sleep with Dan or go home empty-fannied. So over the next hour, we put our plan into action, and shockingly, it worked like a charm. She came over to PJ to try it on, but good old PJ was like a wall and didn't budge. Not that he would have anyway. He's always been one of them lads that won't settle for less than an 8 out of 10 like he's fucking royalty or something. And he gets him too, which is even more annoying. Fucking prick. I'm not bitter, you are. She tried it on with me, then Connor, then Tony, got no joy from any of us, and finally, she went to Dan, and sure enough, Dan flirted right back, and before long, they were all over each other, kissing and whatnot. And then they made their way to his room. Mission accomplished. Honestly, I think we were all in shock with how like clockwork that plan went. The pride of helping out one of the boys and seeing a plan so perfectly executed really did help us get through the pain of intentionally taking the potential of the hop off the table for ourselves. We were proud men. Now, of course, you're probably thinking something went amiss, otherwise this would be a fairly boring video. And of course, you'd be dead right. So our plan was flawless, except for one minor detail that we completely overlooked, and that was Dan himself. We knew Dan was both shy and self-conscious, but what we didn't realise is just how shy and self-conscious he actually was, until about 5 minutes after they went in, his bedroom door opened and Emma walked out, and a defeated Dan shuffled out a minute or two later. So oblivious to what happened and still being optimistic, we went over with all our speeches prepared about how it happens to every guy, especially when it's been 2 years, and you'll do better round 2 lad, just wait for yourself to reload, you know. But no, no, after talking to Dan, they weren't in and out so quick because his passengers decided to detrain early, if you know what I mean. It was because he was too afraid to seal the deal and make a move. So they just laid there in the bed awkwardly for a bit until she got fed up, and rightfully so to be fair, and left the room. What a disaster. The plan failed, and at this point we're all quite sauced, and it would take weeks for us to recover the brain power to even attempt to come up with a plan with half the genius, but we had to try. So we knuckled down and talked among ourselves until we managed to think of something. Same plan again? Yeah? Yep. Okay, we didn't think of anything new, but it got us far enough the first time. So myself, PJ and Connor, being single lads somewhat used to chatting up women, decided to get Dan and give him a pep talk and some advice. While Fanny on tap Tony there went inside to keep Emma occupied until Dan was in fighting form. So we went over the usual stuff. Need to be confident, lad. You need to make the move. She clearly wants it. All you gotta do is seal the deal. When you're giving her the shift, just grab a cheeky little bit of arse. This is literally the one and only time you should listen to your dick, lad. Just go with the flow and stay out of your own head. Otherwise, you'll only start doubting yourself. Jesus, Connor, what is it? I'm trying to help Dan.
Tony's riding Emma on the couch.
What? For fuck's sake, the Judas. God damn it, Tony, you had one job. So, thanks to Tony betraying us all and breaking the sacred man pact, there was a change of plan, and instead of building Dan up, we gotta let him down. So we were over there. Lad, she really wasn't a girl for you, you know? She's loud, she lets strangers feel her boobs, she made your bed all wrinkly. You'll find somebody else. There's plenty of women out there, lad. You just gotta be patient.
Lads!
Connor, we know. Turncoat Tony is shagging her.
No.
Well, what is it then?
She's after getting sick down on top of him while they're in there riding.
Yep, she had actually vomited down on top of him while they were riding. And what's worse is apparently they were kissing at the moment it happened. All I know is, when I was looking in there, Tony was running straight for the bathroom and Emma was looking a bit worse for the wear. And to this day, this story is used in our group of mates to show if you ever break a pact with the lads, you'll upset the balance of the world and the god of brotherhood will intervene and punish you for the crime of fanny theft. So that is the story, and I hope all you lads knocked a laugh out of it. Anyway, if you're liking these story videos more than my usual listed rants, then drop me a like. Let me know what you guys do and don't like. Also, I have an Instagram now, so I'll link that in the description if you want to go check out my makeup tutorials and booty pics. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you lads and ladies in the next one.